Howdy everybody, welcome to NoisePond. My name is Brett, and here on this channel I talk about music and recommendations of things I've been listening to lately. And today I'm going to be talking about A$AP Rocky's new record, Don't Be Dumb. Believe it or not, it's been almost 8 years since we've received a project from the mainstream cloud rapper A$AP Rocky, and it's telling that he returns with some stylistic deviation from his previous output, with all this time and creative fashion sense getting to him. It feels like Rocky has been quite absent, as he has been promising a record for some time now, and we've gone through this cycle with him releasing an array of singles and videos year by year that were relatively tasteful. In 2024, we received Hijack, this amazing single with Rocky accompanied by an unexpected companion and the fantastic contemporary folk artist Jessica Pratt. I mean, the power behind this mind-bending duality was put to great use. Was one of my favorite songs of the year, honestly, and it had me hyped for what was lurking around the corner. Alas, that time kind of came and went, and Rocky slipped a bit from my peripheral. I mean, from movies to fashion galas to embracing fatherhood with pop icon Rihanna. You know, he's busy enough, and let's be real, he never needed to release an album. Probably for the rest of his life, he'd be just fine. It wasn't until the last couple weeks where I got sucked back into Rocky Land, and there was finally some truth to the buildup behind this project. Being the visual stylist Rocky is, you can guarantee the album rollout and the video output here would be a bit cutting edge, and it only adds color that he teamed up with the one and only filmmaker and creative visionary Tim Burton, as well as renowned composer Danny Elfman for creative vision on Don't Be Dumb. Rocky even puts on display staple gorilla-like characters on the album artwork, and in his videos they're like different cartoon caricatures, and the influence from that isn't even hidden, as Gorillaz creator Damon Albarn features on the track Whiskey. You can see and hear all these influences make waves throughout the project and its campaign, and I mean, it legit was one of the coolest things to watch SNL. I don't really watch it live, but to go and see Rocky's performance of Punk Rocky and seeing a shirtless Danny Elfman wailing on guitars and rocking out next to Thundercat. I mean, when worlds collide like this, it's just such a precious cultural moment. Don't Be Dumb could be highly criticized right off the bat for the waiting time it took to get to this point, and that its predecessor testing did not help at all and still left a lot to be desired from. Nevertheless, if you just take this album for what it is on the surface, you have what seems to be a very sweet treat with Rocky's musical enthusiasm clearly on display. Now, I did enjoy Don't Be Dumb, so let's start with the positives of this record. It's very grounded and tangible for a rap record, while also being perceived as an experimental venture. As I've stated before, the vision here is quite cool and isn't questionable at all, and the record is like a love letter to many different styles and genres. I mean, you're dipping your toes into a little bit of this and that, and though it may not be fully immersive, it's quite fun to entangle overall. For example, there's some good fun in the track Robbery featuring Doechii, a jazzy piano piece taking inspiration clearly from like the early 1900s, and both Rocky and Doechii take turns playing this old money suave identity while also amidst the action of robbing a bank. It's a take on how to be boastful and still always get what's yours played off very cleanly, and it's very fitting to who Rocky is as a person. And even though it's a genre outlier compared to the rest of the album, it fits. One of my personal highlights is the track after the double track Don't Be Dumb, Trip Baby, which is an inspirational love letter to his current life and partner in crime, Rihanna. And to me, the idea of Don't Be Dumb in general is a mix of like playing it cool, not doing anything stupid to ruin your life, and then just appreciating all that you have around you. The smooth transitional rollover to the second half, Trip Baby, features a Clairo sample and fittingly is cute as all hell, and this feels like Rocky is at his most vulnerable, acknowledging how much he relies on his love and his family, and most importantly, him in the production. sound great. The singles to Don't Be Dumb were quite nice and built up anticipation for me. The first, Punk Rocky, is like punk light, to be fair, but has a full backing of rock instrumentation that highlight the moodier, cloudy presence of Rocky's vocals. And here he details his struggles with a former love, and it's kind of questionable when you're listening to it like 8 years later, is like, is this about Rihanna? But then he's singing about how he loves her and needs her so much, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, the timing on all of this just seems whatever. Okay, Punk Rocky, kind of nice, yeah, we like, but it was on the track and video for the infectious banger that is Helicopter that won me over. This straightforward, in the trenches rap track has such a delicious beat and hook, and the video, oh my god, it's like right out of a PlayStation video game and looks dope as hell. I get so nostalgic for that type of vibe. Another goodie is the Cut Stole Your Flow, figured to be a Drake diss track and carries some of the heavier baggage on here with some of its cinematic rage influence on the beat. It's easily another standout, and I mean, right out of the gate, you don't get any more iconic lines than "First you stole my flow, so I stole your bitch. La da 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 da." I sound so white saying this. And then it just oozes Rocky to give like this spoken word notice on the solid cut "Stay Here for Life" that he doesn't know what you heard, but he is no longer a player. Not rock. But then immediately follows up with this flirty, lush song, of course, titled Playa, where get out your notepad. He's given some advice on how to pick up the local baddies, which I of course do not need at all. No, but this is such a personality punch here that just always gets to me when I come across it. Now I'll say what I think Don't Be Dumb didn't need was a disc 2, or like this pseudo disc 2. It's only a couple tracks long, and I'm a big proponent of, if you don't think it fits on the main project, just kind of leave it off. I think the record was fine on its own, and sadly this kind of takes a jab at Tyler, the creator, who features on Fish and Steak, the final track to this record. And it's just that song and SWAT Team don't add any further appeal for me and extend the record to more unnecessary lengths. And that carries over to some of the other negatives for me on Don't Be Dumb, similar to disc 2, from like No Trespassing to STFU on the track list. I find myself detaching a little bit. I mean, No Trespassing actually has a very decent, echoey, nocturnal beat, but it's a little repetitive and doesn't have like extra inflections to keep me around, and Rocky's performance is a little flatline. The generational callouts and differences on Stop Snitching are worth some attention, but again, it's a little less colorful than what's to be expected by the other goodies this record has. And finally, the confused rage song STFU featuring Slay Squad is just flat out one of my least favorite. The tone matches some of the album's harder elements, but it's more annoying than embellishing. Slay Squad sounds like a zombie ready to take a bite out of my neck, and those aren't the Tim Burton Halloween vibes I'm looking for in this particular moment. Now, it's not close to any hijack, but Jessica Pratt does find a way to squeeze herself into this project, featuring on the disc 1 apocalyptic closer, The End. It ends the project on a bit of a more pessimistic note, kind of detailing the faults of like our society, government, our generation, and just saying, well, this is how it ends, this is how we're gonna go out. We're even featuring will.i.am on this song as well, and instead of getting some boom boom pow, we're getting some like boom boom you're dead. I mean, the 2000s I guess just hit different. So in totality, I did find Don't Be Dumb to be some good dumb fun, and it may not be an accumulation of consistent work over 8 years, but it's his current state and influence all on a platter, and it's hard to fault someone for being unashamedly themselves while mixing up a batch of pretty decent tunes. The lows to the project are never too deep, and outside of some pacing issues and some lulls in the hour-long experience, I still found myself coming back to the record consistently enough in the past week. And because it's January, there weren't too many major things coming out following the presentation of this rollout, was pretty cool. And so I will say I like and recommend A$AP Rocky's Don't be dumb. As always, artist links and my socials are below, and just let me know how you felt about this one, and maybe come around next time for some music recs around the pond. Peace, y'all.